Did you all know about the country of Turkey? Turkey is not only a famous country for its natural scenery, but also famous for its various Islamic histories such as the power of the Ottoman Empire. The Republic of Turkey was founded in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, replacing the Ottoman dynastic and theocratic system, which is its sultan and khalifa. Turkey is one of the countries with the most significant Muslim majority in the world and adopts an Islamic economic system. Next, Turkey is experiencing a severe economic crisis as a result of the adoption of the conventional economic system. The economic recession was due to earthquake, the absence of additional physical reforms, political instability and economic instability such as corruption practice caused the country's inflation rate to rise. Turkey's worst economic crisis was in 2001 when the unemployment rate hit double digits, plus high inflation and economic growth at the very low levels make the Turkish currency worthless. Turkey has risen in 2003 by converting its economic system to an Islamic economy. This can be seen when the Turkish economy grows well as the change in the economic system has brought the inflation rate under control, the unemployment rate has dropped, and the increased economic growth by 5% of the quotation. Turkey continued to grow every year, encouraged in first quarter of 2020, which is the second best after China of all G20 members countries. Turkey recorded a growth of 7% in the first quarter of this year and 1.7% in the fourth quarter of 2001. To sum up, the Islamic economic system is one of the best economy. This should be practiced by the worldwide for the well-being and justice of the economy. Next, we will be discuss about the topic economic growth in Islamic State.
Definition of Islamic banking. Islamic banking is a type of financial institution that follows Sharia or Islamic law. The main tenet of Islamic banking is profit sharing, as well as the prohibition on lender and investor collecting interest from payment. The distinction between conventional banking and Islamic banking is the prohibition of charging interest loan that Islam calls usury, any form of gambling or miser or speculation, and the sale for financial product such as option or future contract because they are subject to uncertainty or gharar due to the future delivery dates. For example, when the bank gives a loan to company, the bank will not receive any interest from the repayment of the loan, but they will earn the profit from the portion of the company's earning. If the business is bankrupt or in loss, the bank will not receive any advantage. To generate revenue without charging interest, Islamic bank employ equity participation strategies. When it comes to investment, Islamic financial institutions are generally more hesitant to accept risk. Different the acquis of the Islamic finance was introduced in Turkey. According to a survey published by Dinar Standard, which studies Islamic world economy, Turkey has ascended to the top 5 in overall Global Islamic Economy Indicator (DIGI) rating. In 1984, Turkey established the first private financial organizations to provide Islamic banking service, and this institution were given the designation Participation Bank in 2005. Participation in finance, according to Metin Özdemir, the head of the Participation Bank, allows for the stronger social and economic framework as well as a more equitable revenue distribution. Despite being a public sector company that only entered the market as a player in 2015, Turkey has strengthened its support for Islamic finance in the previous 20 years, and it has played an important role in Turkey's development. In the last 5 years, the share of bank in the Turkish banking sector has increased from 5% to 7.2%. Turkey's participation banks net profit climbing by 32% in the first half of 2020, hitting 1.65 billion Turkish lira. In US dollar is 228 million.
Due to the success shown by Malaysia as a leader in the Southeast Asia for Islamic banks and a leading country for secure export in 2012, it has encouraged many multinational banks to start opening Islamic banks to attract conservative Muslims to use their services as the demand for Islamic finance facilities has grown rapidly. Conventional banks that conduct normal banking activities have started to develop by converting conventional finance facilities to Islamic finance facilities, as all financial facilities offered are under Sharia principles. Even though Islamic banks and conventional banks offer the similar products, Muslims in Turkey are still worried due to the uncertainty of the source of the funds obtained by conventional banks to operate their banking activities. 3 of the Islamic finance facilities will be explained and will make a comparison to conventional banks' products. First Islamic finance facilities is Mujarabah. Mujarabah is a profit and loss based contract where this contract is a type of investment partnership that provides banks with funds from clients, term deposits, and saving accounts to be invested in various businesses that are compliant with Sharia principles. The profit and loss earned will be shared according to a predetermined sharing ratio that has been agreed between the customers and the bank. Conversely, all types of deposit accounts offered by traditional banking, which is conventional banks, such as term deposits, saving accounts, and even current accounts, are considered as loan that generate interest-based returns on investments in companies that are not compliant with Sharia principle. The second one is Ijara. Ijara is similar to a conventional leasing contract where the contract outlines terms agreed upon by both parties, the lessor and the lessee, to make payments for the use of the owner's asset. The difference between Ijara and conventional leasing is the rental. Rental in Islamic banks begins when the asset reaches the hand of the lessee for the use of the asset. Last but not least, Murabahah is one of the Islamic finance facilities offered by Islamic banks. Murabahah is a sale contract in which a bank buys an asset or commodity for a customer and sells the purchased asset and commodity back to the customer after adding a certain profit. Then the customer will settle the amount owed to the bank through the installment method agreed with the bank. On the other hand, the facilities offered by conventional banking are highly contrary to Sharia principles, as all loan facilities offered by conventional banks to meet the client's cash requirements are interest-based loan contracts where interest is charged in each repayment as profit to the bank. In addition, any late payments made by customers will also be penalized in conventional banking facilities but not in Islamic facilities offered.
Next, do you want to know what are the reforms brought in by Turkey to increase their export demand? Increase the export demand in one country is important because it offers people and firms more place to produce their product. Function increase for export demand in government also important. It can foster the economic trade, encouraging export and import for all the trading parties. Besides that, increasing in export will increase the gross domestic product, which is GDP in one country. If the GDP one country increase, the stabilization in price of one country is good. It will become the trade surplus, which is export highest than import activities. Trade surplus will contribute to the economic growth. Reforming is important because to improve the export performance to developing the countries. If reforming does not take place, the country will experience huge problems such as contract withdrawal by investors, the country will regress and the people will experience a backlash. So, Turkey has taken some steps for reforms to increase export demand in their country. Turkey has made a reduction of their duties export to increase the export demand. Reduction of duties export can indicate that a country has a trade surplus. GDP in the country will increase because become a main exporter in the world because of reducing the duties export. When exports are less than imports, the net export figure is negative. This indicates that the nation has a trade deficit. When there are more export, it means that there is a high level of output from a country's factories and industrial facilities, as well as a greater number of people that are being employed in order to keep these factories in operations. Other than that, Turkey upgrade their technology in export industries. Upgrading technology in one country is important because it does not make the country live in the backward of time. Turkey has decided to upgrade their telecommunication system in export. It is because it can easily make a communication in one country to another country to this about the term in import and especially export activities. Importer will attract with Turkey if they have simple technology that can be dealt with. So, exporter by country will be increased because of the technology.
Before the establishment of Islamic economic and Islamic banking, many conservative Muslims in Turkey are unwilling to use the service provided by the conventional bank due to the methods contrary to Sharia principles. Fortunately, with the introduction of Special Finance House in 1983, Islamic banking was finally able to operate in Turkey. However, Turkish Muslims still skeptical the operating of Islamic bank, which caused Ihlas Finance House to bankrupt when the economic crisis happened in 2001. Over the time, they are able to accept the Islamic bank, which helped the bank show significant growth over the past 4 decades and helped the investment in Islamic bank to increase. The drastic increase of total asset in Turkey's Islamic banks opened the eyes of the investor, which increased the shareholder equity. Kuwait Turk Participation Bank is one of the examples as it contributes to the development of participatory banking. The bank's achievement recognized by public institutions and trade associations, which enabled Kuwait to receive various awards. Not only that, Kuwait Bank's performance also enabled them to maintain the leading position in banking sector. The equity is the vital element for a firm as it is one of the indicators to understand company's financial health and show the level management in using equity to generate income. The chart below shows the growth in the shareholders' equity received by Kuwait Turk Participation Bank, of whether the company meets the requirement or not in receiving additional investors. The chart shows improvement as Kuwait proved that the investor trust them and the stable performance that they have shown. A consistent increase in banks ensure that they are able to operate well. Kuwait Turk was the first participation bank that acquired equity amounted to Turkish lira 3,402 million during 2015 that was to be used to generate income. The investment received continued to increase to Turkish lira 3,912 million when Kuwait became the largest sukuk issuer in Turkey. They successfully issued various sukuk loans in 2016, which amounted to US$1,115 million. Moreover, their shareholders' equity rose up after Kuwait listed in Shanghai Gold Exchange and developed Trade Plus, which is a mobile app. The highest total equity so far is Turkish lira 10,456 million in 2021 due to the partnership between Kuwait with the Turkish airline and the MasterCards. In short, it is crystal clear that increase in capital stock and investment in Islamic bank and Islamic finance can improve the Turkey economy to become better.
In conclusion, this report shows 4 causes that led to the economic development of the Turkish nation as an Islamic state. The first cause discussed is regarding the participation of Islamic banking. Participating banks, which is the term used for Islamic banks in Turkey that conduct normal banking activities, have begun to develop by converting conventional finance facilities or instruments to Islamic finance facilities. And this brings to the next point, which is the second cause. Islamic finance facilities are more convincing to Muslims in Turkey, given that all financial facilities adhere to Sharia principles. Islamic finance stresses partnership-style financing, which is effective for increasing the poor and small firms' access to capital. Third, high technology development. Technology is the primary source of economic development, and the development of various technologies is very important for the growth of underdeveloped countries. Fourth, the rising of capital and stock and investment. Investment and capital increase the sources of the country's economy to produce more revenue. Hence, this leads to the economic growth of Turkey. To sum up, this study intends to empirically analyze the relationship between Islamic financing and economic growth in Turkey. Naturally, a healthy society requires a functioning economic system, as consumption of goods and services. The facilitation of this by a common medium of exchange play a significant part in helping people to achieve their material and other life goals. The formation of the Islamic economic system is significant due to the fact that it employs distinct methodologies for model construction in comparison to mainstream economics. A thorough comprehension of the Islamic worldview is essential to build an Islamic economic system. Therefore, due to the Islamic worldview that varies from the secular worldview, all Muslims are required to construct and advance the Islamic economic system, which strives to improve people's economic well-being and social justice by distributing material resources fairly and establishing social justice.